My focus today will be on the chakras. Okay, and I'm going to explain what they are and what they do. Chakras are the energy points of the body. Now, the same way that you have your main organs, your brain, your jaw, mouth, throat, heart, digestive system, and the bowel, your soul also has main organs called the chakras. Now, those are crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral underneath the navel, and then you have the root chakra, which is at the bottom of the spine. Now, each of those chakras have a responsibility, the same way that your brain has a responsibility, your throat has a responsibility, your heart has one. So each of those chakras are responsible for one, your emotional aspect of your body and a physical aspect of your body. Now, the emotional aspect is perhaps more active in chakra management or chakra responsibility, because your body is mainly responsible for your physical aspect. So now let's go further one by one, and then I'm going to tell you what foods are good for your chakras so you can write them down if you're interested. Now, the first thing is your crown chakra. Okay, now in Hinduism and Ayurvedic medicine and the chakra system, they always start with the root chakra first at the bottom of your spine, and the idea is that you are a physical being connected to the earth, so you start off with the root chakra. However, I believe, and there's I think that a lot of people would support that we are more spiritual beings than human beings. So I like to start with the crown chakra. So the crown chakra is responsible for your connection to the divine, to God, to the universe. Whatever people call it, there's more than one way to the truth. So it's your connection to the spiritual world. Now, this chakra is really what sets us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom, because the animals are born and they live on instinct. They eat, they sleep, they poop, and that's it, right? However, us, when we are born, as the minute we understand our own limitations on this planet, the minute we understand that we have an expiration date, we start to wonder, where do we come from? Where are we going? Why are we here? And since the beginning of time of humans have existed, we have asked those questions. In fact, we have drawings, carvings in caves where the cavemen would draw symbols and questions, and even alien and spaceships pictures. So we know that we have always been curious as creatures as who we are and where we're going and where do we come from. And this crown chakra is really responsible for that aspect. Now, if the crown chakra is open, activated, and the energy is running through it smoothly, then you are more than likely a person that is close to their spirit, humble, who understands that this life is temporary, so you don't cling on to it, and you live in a way that is good for the soul, good for the spirit. So that's the crown chakra. Now, foods associated with the crown chakra are things like herbal teas, okay, like turmeric. You've got aloe vera, or water is one big one. Water for the crown chakra. Oh my God, it's amazing. And lavender. So next one is your third eye. Your third eye is responsible for your psychic abilities. Now, we always think we're not psychic, or a very few of us on the planet are psychic, but actually we are all psychic. How many times did you think about someone and they rang you out of the blue, or you bumped into them? Right? You knew they were coming. That was your psychic abilities, your third eye telling you, hey, this person's about to walk back into your life. How many times did you have that gut feeling, that intuition that something bad was going to happen, and then you didn't go and you didn't do it and something bad did happen? Or how many times do you tell yourself, the weather looks good, it's not gonna rain, and you go out and it rains, but you knew it was gonna rain, right? These are tiny little examples, especially if you live in Ireland. These are tiny little examples that we are a little bit psychic. We have this psychic connection to other people, we have this to other animals, and we also have them to plants. Now, the first time I realized we have that connection with plants was actually 4 years ago. I'm going to tell you this crazy story, and I don't think anyone's going to believe me, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. I went and I bought a Christmas tree, a live Christmas tree. It was about yay high, about maybe 4 foot. It was tiny. And I never had a real Christmas tree before, ever. My mother would always have fake Christmas trees at home. When I moved out and I had my own place, I would also have fake Christmas trees. So that's the first time I had a live Christmas tree, and I was delighted with myself. I bought it home, I decorated, I sat down next to it, and I was admiring my work. And I got this overwhelming feeling of this tree saying to me, "It is hot in here, I'm going to die, please take me outside." And I sat there and I was staring at it, and I thought, that is my mind talking to me. And it was like, no, I'm hot in here, I'm going to die, take me outside. So I took my phone out and I Googled it. Can Christmas trees stay in the house? And apparently they can't. They don't. They die inside. You only should bring them in for a very short period of time for Christmas, and then take them out again. And you can't put them straight out. You have to put them in the shed first to reclimatize them to outside. But I didn't know that. So I thought, oh my God, this tree is gonna die. And the heating was on, the fire was on. I'm Middle Eastern, it was hot in here. So I went outside and I dug a hole, and I put the tree in the garden. It still lives there. And as I planted it and I was walking away, and I just heard, "Thank you, that's better." And that was my first experience of, oh my God, we are actually able to communicate to a certain extent with everything around us. And I suppose the third eye is that connection. It's that connection to our intuition. It's our connection to our psychic abilities. And just like how a radio tunes in to a certain frequencies in order to catch the frequency, we are similar to that. Now, if a telly is not tuned, is the telly broken? No, the telly is not broken. If you buy a new telly, it will do the same thing. The telly is not broken. We just need to tune it so it reaches the frequency that we need in order to watch television on it. And us humans are very similar to that. We need to fine tune in such a way that we can connect to other beings and to other people and other animals. Now, I have to tell you, that's the only time it ever happened. Ever since then, I've been sitting around all the plants and all the trees going, go on, say something to me, go on, just one word. It hasn't happened. But the fact that it did, and that one time, it really did show me that the possibility of us living on a frequency where we can resonate and understand other creatures is absolutely possible. There is a woman that actually talks to animals, and I can't remember her name, but if you type in the woman that talks to animals, it actually comes up on YouTube, and it's an hour-long documentary. And she communicates with animals very quickly. And what she says she does is she forms a mental picture in her head, and then she sends the picture to the animal, and the animal will send a picture back, and she puts them into words. And so she's invited all over the world to go into zoos and to sanctuaries with animals that are having difficulties cohabiting with other animals, or they're just in distress, or they don't understand what's wrong with them. She goes in and she gives you a full breakdown of what that animal's gone through in their whole life, and what pain they're feeling and what their issue is. So there are people on earth that actually do speak to animals in such a way that they can fine-tune the frequency and completely understand them. So there is a cat there. I did say we might get one to visit us. So this is Shakti. And now Now going to our next chakra, which is the throat chakra. Oh, sorry, the foods associated with your third eye are aubergines, purple carrots, and grapes, blueberries, and purple cabbage. Now, if anyone's interested in this table, I will send it to you after this. Please text me or email me, and I will send it on to you. The throat chakra. The throat chakra is responsible for your speech. It is responsible for allowing you to speak not just coherently, but in a way that you feel and want to be understood. And when the throat chakra is blocked, and what we found is either somebody doesn't talk, buries their feelings deep inside, or if it's overactive, there's too much energy flowing through, or it's disaligned, then what you might find is they talk too much and they talk out of line, or they talk nonsense and they make no sense whatsoever. The throat chakra is important, especially when it comes to communications with everybody around you. And I'm not just talking about people, but also yourself, conversations with yourself. How honest are you with yourself? So when I was about 14, I was going into a shop with my dad, and there's a gentleman sitting outside the shop, and he was playing music, and I just thought it was the best music ever. It was so lovely, and I ended up talking to him when my dad was in the shop, and he told me he was 80 years old and he looked about 30. And I said to him, what is the secret to staying young? And he said, be honest, always be honest. And to this day, I think he lied to me. He was so young, but to be 80 and to look like you're 30 was just crazy to me. And I never forget that. The secret to staying young is to be honest. So when I talk about the throat chakra, the best way to keep this open is by honesty. Is honesty to yourself as well. Know your own weaknesses, know your own strength, and be honest about them to yourself. So foods associated with that is lemon, blackberry, and coconuts, and green tea. So now, perhaps for me, the most important chakra of all, the heart chakra. The heart chakra is your connection to love. And love is not an emotion between two people. Love is a way of living, and a way of treating, and a way of seeing everything. The earth, the creatures, yourself, the planet itself, everything. Now that's love. Love is not between two people. Now, the heart chakra is responsible for that kind of love. And when we eat a vegan diet, it truly comes from compassion. We eat a vegan diet, it truly is watering the seed of compassion. And in Buddhism, when you water the seed of compassion, it is the first step to enlightenment. It is the first step to becoming a Buddha, is watering the seed of compassion. So when you eat a vegan diet, what you're really doing is watering the seed of this compassion in here. So what happens then? The love grows. So not only do you love people, yourself, but you love the environment. You start to connect with the animals. There is a deep sense of unity in the heart chakra when it's activated, because by now we all know, if one country in the world gets sick, we all get sick, right? Unity. We know that when one country is affected in war, we will all be affected. Unity. We know that when the animals are in pain, we will suffer as well. We will suffer, maybe not in the same way, but we will suffer regardless. I gave an example of this in my last talk, and it was, we might cause pain and death to a pig, and then we might eat the meat, and what we have then, a heart attack because of too much animal protein, right? So that's how we suffer. We suffer through disease when we consume animal consumption. So when one of us, only one of us on this planet suffers, we all suffer. And so when we try to live in such a way that we decrease the amount of suffering that we cause as an individual, because that's the only thing we can control. I can't control what you do. I can only control myself. So if I control and say my other half, he also controls, and say my friends do, now we have a few people that are controlling the amount of suffering that they are inflicting on the planet and the creatures within it. So that creates a wave of unity, a way of love, a way of compassion. We start to water the seed of compassion within us. So foods associated with the heart chakra are broccoli, my favorite vegetable. I love broccoli. Broccoli, kale, celery, avocados, and kiwis. Now let's go down to the solar plexus. The solar plexus is right underneath the heart, right here. The solar plexus is the governor of your emotions. It is the body that governs all good and bad, your anger, your happiness, your sadness, your joyness, everything. It governs everything. Now the solar plexus also has another important role, and that is how creative you are. So your creativity. Now I have a yoga student who recently wanted to be a bit more creative. So we did lots of meditation on the solar plexus. We visualized the color of the solar plexus, which is yellow, and how it will flourish. And after the meditation, he said, I went home and I wrote a song. And so, it really works. You want to be a bit more creative? Meditate on the solar plexus. Eat foods that are good for the solar plexus, which I'm going to give you in a minute. So the solar plexus is really what keeps us fulfilled, because I believe that as much as we are spiritual beings on this planet and we have a purpose, but I genuinely believe that our purpose as a whole on this planet is to create. Whether that is creating art, creating music, creating homes, creating babies, creating friendships. But we are here to create. And when we are creative, we are our best selves. Now, creativity comes in so many ways, okay? You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be a musician. You don't have to draw, okay? Creativity comes in so many ways. It could be gardening. It could be the way you fold your towels, how you color code your clothes, how you put on your makeup, how you design a website. It doesn't matter, but creativity comes in many, many different ways. So if you're sitting there saying to yourself, I am not creative at all, I have no creative bone in my body, then think about the last time you were cleaning the kitchen and you were very particular about how you wanted your cups and your plates to be. That's creativity. When you decorated your bedroom, when you made your bed in the morning and you like it a certain way, that's creativity. So we are all to a certain extent creative, some more than others, but we're here to create. The solar plexus is also responsible for your emotions, as I said. Now we're going to go into that a little bit. The solar plexus, think about it like a bed of seeds, okay? And the solar plexus holds the water. Now, in the bed of seeds, you have anger, you have happiness, you have envy, you have jealousy, you have all the emotions. Now, whatever you allow yourself to rise, that is the seed that gets watered. So if you allow yourself to be continuously angry, the seed of anger is now getting watered. And what happens when the seed gets watered? It grows. It grows. It turns big. It turns noticeable. It takes over. It takes all the nutrition from the other seeds of the soil, so nothing else can grow. But if you water happiness, same thing happens. Now, the solar plexus, when not aligned or not receiving its energy, or when it's blocked, what happens is your emotions are out of control. You're not in control of your emotions. And when we are not in control of our emotions, we live on a roller coaster. We are constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. So to control our emotions, what do we do? To control the governor of our emotions, how do we control which seed gets watered? And the answer is really simple: meditation. If you're dedicating 20 minutes a day to meditating, and I'm going to tell you how it works. I mean, sitting still, thinking of nothing, how does that work with my emotions? I'm going to go into that. But if you meditate 20 minutes a day, that's perfect. And if you're busy, meditate for an hour. Okay? If you're busy, meditate for an hour. Now, let me tell you, when you sit there and you think to yourself, I'm going to focus on my breath. So you breathe, 1 or 2 breaths go past, and then it's like, boom, there's a thought, and the thought is about dinner tomorrow, and what am I going to wear, or whatever. You have to say to yourself, I'm thinking, and I'm aware that I'm thinking. And you bring your focus back to your breath. Now, what you did there was you told your mind, you are not doing what you want. I'm going to control you. You are not about to go haywire. So next time your mind jumps to another thought, you said, no, come back to the breath. Come back to the breath. And you do this over and again and again and again. So next time you're washing the dishes and you remember something that happened 10 years ago that really upset you, you say to yourself, no, I'm not doing this, brain. Come back. And you bring your focus back to washing the dishes. And that's called mindfulness. You're being mindful, being in the moment. You're doing the dishes. You're enjoying the warm water on your skin. And that's that. Now, you could be walking, you could be driving, you could even be in a conversation with someone and your mind starts to wander. No, bring it back. I'm in this conversation. This is what we're doing. And you tell the mind, this is what we're doing. So that is how you control your emotions, and that is how you control which seed gets watered. 20 minutes a day is ideal, but if you're busy, do it for an hour. Now, if you want to learn how to meditate, you can visit my website, click on articles, and then scroll down to how to meditate. Or you can give me a call if you want to go through it. I do teach meditation, but it's based on Buddhist teaching. So if you want to learn the Buddhist way of meditation, please do get in touch. And I'll go through with you, and we can make a plan of how to meditate every day, and you stick with that plan, which is really straightforward. The solar plexus foods, so I'm going to tell you them now. Solar plexus: banana, pineapple, lemon. And okay, so next chakra is your sacral chakra, just below the navel. Now, this is a beautiful chakra if you're a mother. Okay, so if you're here and you're a mother or a father, this is the chakra that is the most beautiful. This is the connection to your child. No matter where they are, especially if you're a mother, you always know right here in the gut, right, when something's wrong with your child. Now, I could be on the other side of the planet. If I'm very, very upset or I'm hurt, my mother will call me. So what's wrong? She'll know, right? Because that connection right here in the room doesn't go away. That's the sacral chakra. Now, that it's not the only connection. The sacral chakra is responsible for your sexual energy. So your connection with your partner, romance, intimacy. It's also responsible for your confidence, your self-esteem, and most of all, the reproductive organs. So this chakra is really the intimate part. You had the heart chakra, which is love, but it's not love to just one person. That's a sacral job, sacral chakra. So So this is where your intimacy is. This is where your connection is to your children, to your partner. And if you are in a situation where you are not connecting with your partner, you are not connecting with your child, especially if they're adults, meditation on the sacral chakra is so helpful, because it creates that pathway open to create that bond again. Sacral, carrots, oranges, peaches. Okay, now we go down to the last chakra, which is the root chakra. The root chakra is responsible for your identity. It is your financial, emotional, and physical security, your self-identity, who you are, what you like as a person, what your opinions are. It's also responsible for grounding you. The earth connects with you through your root chakra. It is where you feel the strongest when you're grounded. So the root chakra is actually located in a very awkward place, so at the bottom of the spine all the way down, in between the legs. And the color of it is red. And if you ever feel that you're not grounded, you're sort of up in the air and life is stressful, whatever, change your bed sheets to red bed sheets and go to bed. You feel grounded the next day. And it really, really works. Or wear the color red. Wear the color red and sit with your feet on the earth. Allow the electrolytes to go up through the earth and into your feet. So the root chakra is your security. If you feel vulnerable, if you feel like your walls around too thin, if you feel that you don't have your financial or emotional security or physical, meditate on the root chakra. Eat chakra foods like beetroots, red foods, beetroots, strawberries, pomegranate, tomatoes. So these are all, the red foods are all the ones that nourish and activate the root chakra. Now, if you eat it mindfully with the intention of, I am going to activate this particular chakra by eating this food, it happens 10 times faster. Let me tell you why. 10 scientists decided to test the human intention to see if it was worth anything. So they got 2 lots of water, and the first set of water stayed in the lab. The second lot of water was took to a Buddhist monastery, and the Buddhist monks were asked, pray your intention into the water. And so they brought the 2 lots of water back into the lab, and they grew human stem cells. And what they found was the water with intention in it grew the human stem cells 10 times faster than the water without. Both waters came from the same tap, they were unaltered, but the water where it contained the intention of the monks grew the human stem cells 10 times faster. Now they did this several times, I believe it was 11 times. And each time, the human stem cells were growing faster. So the scientists concluded, and this is an actual study, you can Google it, I can send you the link to it if you like. They concluded that the human intention is so powerful that it could manipulate particles in the water. You are 80% water. Imagine if you set your intention every morning when you woke up. That's a command for 80% of you. Today I'm going to be happy. Today I'm not going to be angry. Today I'm going to be XYZ. That is a command for 80%. 80% of you says, okay, no problem. So all of the chakras have this beautiful connection to food. They have a beautiful connection to our spirits. They have a beautiful connection to our path in life as human and spiritual beings. And when we choose a vegan diet, we choose compassion, we choose health, we choose unity, we choose peace. And we choose to understand and value all of life on this planet. We choose less suffering. When we choose all of those things, what happens is our karma becomes good as well. Your life gets easier. Your job gets easier. You start to get everything you want. Nothing bothers you because you got your emotions under control. Nothing bothers you. I have seen a lot of people come through my doors and they've been in very bad situations. I've had people who were stuck in situations that they couldn't get out of, in terms of living situations. I've had people have going through extreme poverty and debt collectors knocking on their doors and X, Y, and Z. And I've had people with extreme illnesses where they really have no choice but to sit and wait for death. But I've also seen the same people transform on a vegan diet into somebody that was almost unrecognizable. The same people would come back and say, oh my God, I got what I wanted. I am healthy now. I moved. I got my new house. I'm not stuck anymore. And so many good things. And they fail to see this. And sometimes you think, I can't tell them because it's not the right time, but I can see it. They fail to see the connection between how they choose to live. And veganism is not a diet, it is a lifestyle. But how they choose to live impacts their entire existence. You choose compassion, you receive compassion. You choose peace, you receive peace. It is all a choice, all of it. I think I'm gonna stop it there before I bore you to death with the rest of it. So I'll take some questions if anyone's got one.
Sefy, could you just go over the foods for the sacrum chakra, please?
Yeah, sacral. So all the orange foods, that's carrots, oranges, peaches, ginger, and even walnuts, actually, walnuts as well.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
No problem. Anyone else?
Sepi, I want to know where the origins of the chakras originate. Where did it come from, please?
5,000 years ago in Hinduism, in India. The chakra system came from India 5,000 years ago. However, it is used in China and Japan, especially in Japan, for Reiki practice. That's energy healing, Reiki energy healing. And to this date, the chakra system has traveled across the whole world. It's actually been used by multiple different religions, multiple different spiritual practices, and it's sort of the basis for spiritual health in modern days. I mean, I don't think there is a yoga class you've been to that hasn't mentioned the chakra system, or watched a spiritual sort of documentary without it being mentioned. Especially in the new age now that everything is energy, we are only learning that everything is energy. I mean, the moon has the power to move the waves in such a way that it gives us free energy. Like the sea can give us free electricity. We've only just started to find out that everything has a frequency. And so the chakra system has become more valuable to I suppose, to scientists and today's society, because they've just started to find out that everything is based on frequencies. No worries. Anyone else?
How about the plants feel pain that so many people say? And I think the plants can feel something, but if you...
Yeah, sure. So animals and ourselves, we are also animals. Animals in general have a nervous system. The nervous system is responsible for transporting neurons and electrons and alerting the brain that pain is being felt. Okay. Plants don't have a nervous system, so they can't feel pain because they're just not equipped to feel it. Okay, but they do exist and they do talk to each other, but they don't feel pain. Plants are here as food, as shelter, and as providing oxygen for us, really. But they don't have a nervous system. They cannot biologically feel pain.
Oh. I've read that they communicate with each other through the root system.
Yes, that's correct.
And they can warn other plants of dangers like wildfires and things like that.
Oh, I don't know about wildfires, but I do know that they do communicate with each other, mostly about weather aspects of things, and also it's I think you need, in certain plants, you need a male and a female. For instance, apple trees, you need 2 of them in order for the trees to grow and for you to have apples. So in that way, they kind of communicate that way, that, you know, to let each other know, hey, we're here, and exchange whatever needs exchanging.